Hey guys, what's up? In this video I will talk about fear because I think it's a huge topic and it covers a lot of different situations we find ourselves in. And I believe that getting familiar with the emotion of fear and knowing the purpose of fear and knowing how to deal with fear and how to conquer fear in many different situations can be a very powerful tool to have in your toolbox of personal development tools, let's say. And the first kind of fear, no, firstly, what I want to talk about is that fear usually is a messenger of information that shows you that you are currently in a situation or state where you need to get out of. Fear is a powerful motivator to get out of a specific state or to prevent you from engaging in a specific state. And so there's like a few different types of fear, right? You can have the fear to approach a stranger in the street and go talk to them. This usually is a fear of being rejected, of being laughed at, of being judged, right? And then there can also be a fear where you are afraid of the future or you're just constantly living in fear because you fear like you will die soon or like something bad might happen. It's also like tied closely to worrying, right? This is another type of fear. Then you have fear of missing out, for example, where you they call it FOMO, right? Where you're afraid that you will miss out on stuff if you don't engage, or if you stay inside, or you don't go to a party that you get invited to. This is something that I struggle with quite a lot, like the fear of missing out. And I'm like, I'm not really feeling it, but then these people invite me, and if I don't go, I might miss out, etc. Like this is also something that I want to talk about. So fear can be there in different forms, and I believe that whenever we are in a fearful state in our current situation, it's usually a messenger of a change we need to make. And we can, for example, like what I want to talk about now is the fear of doing something that you're afraid of that you will not be able to handle. For example, like being afraid of approaching a stranger in the street and getting rejected. This fear, I believe, is a fear that is very close to excitement. If you watch closely, it's so closely related to excitement, because if you can find a way to energize yourself, because fear is a very energized emotion. Actually, it has a lot of power, it has a lot of potential. And the fear, you can, if you can find a way to flip it into excitement, then it becomes this driving force to make you take action. For example, let me give you an example. Maybe some of you remember when we are standing on a cliff, like 3 meters above the water, for example, and we are afraid to jump. We have this fear, right? But then our friends, maybe they jokingly like push us a little bit, or the peer pressure, whatever it is, and we decide to jump. And then all of a sudden, it becomes this sense of excitement. Like you jump, you're in the air. It's like, wow, my God, I'm afraid, but it's also like a sense of excitement. And then when you jump and you hit the water and nothing happens, then you get super excited about it. Then you want to like go all like again and again and again. And the first 2-3 times you still feel this like fear, but you realize it's so closely to the excitement. And the more you do it, the more you get um, you build the confidence that it's okay to jump, it's exciting, it's fun, right? And then you kind of flip the script on the fear. And it's the same thing with a lot of things, like approaching a stranger in the street, for example, or on a party or wherever. When you approach them and you start talking, at first it might feel a little bit awkward, or you might be very afraid or scared. But then whenever you learn that it's okay to do that, this fear can turn into excitement so quickly, right? Because we realize that, oh my god, I'm so excited about talking to someone at the party or in the street or wherever, right? So by finding ways to flip the script on the fear and realizing that it's closely related to excitement, if you can in your mind find ways to let go of the fear and realize that you will be able to handle the situation no matter what. If you can build this confidence in yourself, you can learn to use fear as a powerful messenger to nudge you into different directions, into directions that will make you grow. Because when we overcome fears that we have, we feel so powerful. It's such an empowering thing to do, to be afraid and then act regardless, then take action regardless. And this can create such a sense of agency and freedom inside of us, because we realize that, okay, even though we feel fear, we can still decide to act, and then realize that we are able to handle the situation or the consequences, because usually we're just afraid of the consequences, and we are afraid that we won't be able to deal with the consequences. I read this fantastic book. It's called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. This also kind of inspired the video, and the writer, she talks about the fact that fear is usually caused by the fact that we think we will not be able to handle the choice we make or the consequences that will result from a specific act or specific choice. But we can only know that we are able to handle it after the fact. We make the decision, we do the thing that we are afraid of, and then we realize afterwards, when everything is over, that we are actually able to deal with it, right? Because you will be able to deal with it when you make the decision, something that you're afraid of. Quit your job, go talk to that stranger, uh, do some bungee jumping, whatever it is. After you've done it, you realize, wow, it was actually not that bad. I was perfectly able to deal with it. And even if you felt like you were not really, you actually were, and you'll become better at it. That's the beauty of it, right? The more you do things that you're afraid of, the better you will get at these things, and the better you will also get at overcoming the fear. And this is an amazing feeling. Like, it's fantastic to realize that, okay, I have control over my behavior, over my actions, not necessarily over your emotions, because fear is a very visceral emotion. It's a very intense feeling that you experience without choice necessarily, right? If you're afraid of spiders, it's a visceral, instinctive thing. However, you do have choice over the way you act, and you can also slowly desensitize yourself to things that you're afraid of, right? You can start looking at pictures of spiders, for example, and whenever you start to feel comfortable with that, you can maybe ask someone to catch a spider and put it in a glass bowl and keep it somewhere where you can watch it in the bowl, where it cannot hurt you, right? And then after you've been practicing that and you start to feel more comfortable with that, you might lift up the glass bowl and let it run a little bit, whatever it is, right? Like step by step by step. But increasingly you will start to feel more powerful, more energized, more secure in yourself, that you are able to handle whatever is coming, whatever consequence um, the situation yields. You will know that you will be able to handle the situation, and even if you don't really know it, you will figure it out. And by building this skill, this trust, it will also bleed into other parts of your life where you will feel more secure. You will know that, okay, I feel this fear right now. However, I know that it's actually a masked excitement, and it's a masked fear of not being able to handle the consequences, but you definitely are able to handle the consequences. And of course, there are situations where the fear is very valid. Like, you don't want to jump off a cliff like 200 meters and die. That's what fear is actually for. It's to protect us. It's to take care of us. And so if you can make fear your friend, your ally, you will see that it has a lot of value in our lives. You will find that that fear can point you into directions that you would otherwise never see or never pay attention to. And if you have like a nagging feeling of fear, anxiety, worry, this is a message from your body to make you aware that, okay, I have to do things differently. Because the definition of insanity is doing things over and over again and expecting different results. And so if you are keeping yourself stuck in this state and you're not changing anything, you will stay there. You will stay fearful. You will stay anxious. You will stay worrisome. And the only cure to that is actually taking action. And it doesn't matter how much action you're taking. It doesn't matter how big of a step you take. It's more about taking the step, actually doing something to make the situation better, and doing that consistently every day, every week, every month. And you will find yourself in a completely different place if you do that. So if you learn to become aware of the fear and make the distinction between anxiety, worry, because these are also fears, fears that you will not make it, or fears that you will die alone, or stuff like that. These types of fears, they are messengers for you to do things differently in your life. And then you have other fears that prevent you from taking action towards something because they have this intense uncomfortable they cause this intense uncomfortable feeling inside yourself. However, if you pay close attention, you will find that it's so closely related to excitement. And if you can flip the switch on the fear and turn it into excitement, then it will become a powerful motivator, and you will feel excited to take action towards the things that you're afraid of. And afterwards, you'll feel amazing. You'll feel so good about yourself because you realize that, hey, despite the fact that I feel all these intense emotions, I still decided to take action, and I still did it, and I was actually able to handle the consequences, which is amazing. Like, and the only way to actually like find that out, to realize that, to know that it's true, is by doing it. So you gotta do it. You just gotta, whatever you're afraid of right now, try to look for a way to cut chop it down into smaller pieces, because you don't want to face your biggest fear in one take, right? Maybe you want to look for ways to chop it down in smaller chunks, and then go face those little fears one at a time. And before you know it, you will be able to, there are so many mosquitoes, man. You will be able to face the complete fear, right? You will be able to face it head on and know that you are able to handle it, because you're able to handle all these small pieces. And you know that, okay, I know I can handle all this, so when I add it up, I will also be able to handle this. And this is so powerful to realize. So fear can be a very important guide in your journey towards self-mastery, self-development. And if you learn to pay attention, if you start to learn to pay attention to fear, then you will find a lot of value in it, and you will find that it will bring you a lot of insight. And so another thing that I struggle with, especially during pre oh my god, these mosquitoes, pre-corona times, is the fear of missing out, right? And this is basically a fear of missing out, so not being able to experience what other people are experiencing, or not being able to attend a certain event, or watch a specific, I don't know, movie or series or whatever it is. And you're afraid that you're missing out on all the fun or all the excitement or all the value, whatever it is. And this is something that I struggle with sometimes, because sometimes I feel like, I really don't want to go. But is it because I'm afraid to go? Is it because I feel like there's a huge energy investment required to leave my house, to go to this party and to talk to these people, etc., etc. And then I kind of feel afraid that, I'm actually staying home because I'm afraid of going. But when I'm staying home, then I'm afraid of staying home because I will miss out, right? So this is like a very complex situation. And usually the best solution for me is, one, first, if I made the decision to stay at home, then stick to that decision and let it happen. Realize that there is billions of people around the world doing things constantly, so you can never attend everything that is valuable at the same time. It's just impossible. By making a decision to go somewhere, you automatically discard all the rest because you can't be everywhere at the same time, right? Even though I wish I could, I can't. So realize that, okay, when you make the decision, really stick to it and don't ruminate about, oh, not being able to attend another event, or going somewhere else, because this will just ruin the moment that you're in, because it's worthless to ruminate about being somewhere else when you're actually right here. It's a waste of time and energy. You can better, if you make the decision to, for example, stay home, then make it a productive time. Enjoy yourself while you're home, right? Don't worry about not being able to attend that event that you said no to. But the other side of it is realizing that, okay, maybe sometimes I just gotta push myself a little bit, and I come up with tons of excuses to not have to leave my house, to not have to go to the party, to not have to talk to people and be social. Sometimes I just have to push myself a little bit because I realize, okay, there might be a lot of opportunities there, and even though right now I don't really feel like it, whenever I start to take action, I put on my clothes, brush my teeth, start to get ready, and actually go there, the momentum starts to happen, and every action follows the other, and you start to feel more motivated to go there. And then whenever you're there, you can still decide to go home, right, if you don't want to be there. But usually after you actually decided to go, even though you didn't want to, most of the time you don't feel like you regret it. And even if you do, then you can still realize that, okay, I tried, I did my best, even though I was afraid, or I felt like it was too much effort. i took I did the effort, I took the time, I put in the energy. And that's also something to be proud of, right? To be aware of that. Okay, even though I was a little bit afraid, or I didn't really want to, I still did it. And then this can create a sense of agency inside you. You will feel more powerful. You'll feel like you're more in control, right? So realizing that, okay, if I make a decision to go to the party, then commit to the party, and don't think like, oh, I wish I was home, and the other way around, right? But if it's out of fear that you would stay home, then try to overcome that fear and just go, and realize that you will be happy if you actually did it, if you actually tried to overcome your fears, right? So that is for now what I wanted to say about fear. It's a huge topic. There's so much more to talk about. I don't want to make this video too long because there's an insane amount of mosquitoes here, and it's really annoying. Um, so I think that's it, guys. So as always, thank you for being brave. Thank you for looking inwards. Thank you for making yourself and thus the world a better place, one step at a time. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. Talk soon. Bye.